Okay, so here we are for another unboxing, and today we're going to be looking at the Hobbyking Desert Fox. This is a 1/10 scale 4-wheel drive desert buggy or dune buggy, depending on which way you look at it. I really like these types of RCs. I mean, if you guys have seen my previous unboxings, you may have seen that I unboxed the Thunder Tiger Bushmaster. I also did the FS Racing Marauder, and the Marauder is actually probably its closest competition. And thanks to a bit of a hint from one of my viewers on Facebook, he actually suggested that I do a bit of a race wars between this and the Marauder. So I may in fact do that in the future, but of course you will see this guy running on its own for perhaps a couple of running videos, and then later on we'll do some other tests. But we'll get rid of that guy very quickly. Here is the car already out of the box. This comes with some very thick zip ties tied to the bottom of the box, so you will need some cutters to get it out, and it would have taken me a while to kind of get to them and do all that. But besides, I do like to kind of just kick the box out of the way and get straight to the point. In the box there are some manuals. You have one for your remote, if you don't know how to use that. There's also a sticker sheet. The buggy does not come with any stickers, which means that you can decorate it as you wish, which is something that I always applaud from any manufacturer. I always like to put my own stickers on, just in case, you know, you don't want to put as many, or you want to put extra, or you don't want to put any at all and want to use something completely different. So you can really customize the car from the get-go, and I really appreciate that. The manual itself is pretty simplistic, pretty well illustrated though, but it does have all the necessary information. Gives you layout of the shocks on the front page. There's some blown up pictures there of the chassis. Everything's got part numbers on it as well, so if you do break something, you get a quick overview of what it is that you need. Look up the part number and away you go, you can order your parts. There's also a full parts list in there, in case you need it, and at the back there's even an upgrade parts list, and there's also a very kind of simplistic drawing of where the stickers should go, and they're all numbered and everything, so if you want to decorate the car as they intended to, you can. First thing here is the remote. The remote's a fairly simple remote. I've actually got one that looks very much identical to this with the Rockstar, which is back there, that little guy there in front of the Sabertooth. This of course has a flipper door on the back. You've got steering and throttle reverse trims. You've got a binding button as well. I'll bring it up close to the camera so you can just see there. Hopefully the camera will focus in on this. Let's see if I can make this happen. Here we go. So you got your reverse switches, binding button, couple of LED lights. You've got steering trim, throttle trim, and steering dual rate, which is a very, very cool thing to have on a ready-to-run remote. And of course, you've got your on and off switch on the bottom there. I kind of do wish the on and off switch was outside of this flipper door, so I wouldn't have to open it every time I want to turn the remote on and off. But you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. This is a pretty cool, decent little remote. Runs on 4 AA's. Doesn't have any breakable or collapsible antennas to worry about. Does have a little kind of rubber surround on the wheel. It's not foam, it's rubber, and it even has a kind of a makeshift kind of disc brake going on and caliper in there, which is very cool. Feels good in the hand. Nice remote. So moving on to the main event, let's grab the car. I'll bring it up to the camera so you guys can have a better look at it, and I'll do the usual kind of spin around so you can see. Whoops, nearly dropped it. So you can see the car in its all its glory there. So LED bar on the top. This does not come with LEDs, but it does have it's already pre-drilled and everything, so you can actually mount your own LEDs on there if you wish. Spare tire on the back is a real tire, so you know, if you do damage one of these, or you, I don't know, get a flat tire or something, you can always replace it. It does come with a spoiler, but the spoiler does not come pre-mounted on the car. You will need to put that on. It's only attached there with body clips, so if you don't want to put it on, you don't have to. Personally, I'm still getting used to it being on the car. I think I like it better without the spoiler on there, but I figured I'll leave it on there just for you guys can see what it looks like. And panning around to the rear, nice sturdy rear bumper, reinforced through the actual roll cage there, so if it does cop a hit back here, it's you know, not going to collapse on itself. The inside, you know, it's got a couple of sort of half drivers in there. They're missing their legs. I would have liked to see the top of this kind of closed off with some Lexan or something like that. But you know, you can always put something on there later on if you wish. It does have 4 individual Lexan panels, so roof, bonnet or hood, as some people would call it, and of course you got your two side panels. Don't know if these will be sold separately. I haven't checked myself. I'm assuming they'll be sold as a kit, but if you do happen to damage one of the panels, you don't have to replace the whole thing. You can just replace the one that's damaged and keep the rest as spares, which is pretty cool. Front bumper is also very nice and sturdy there as well. Droop screws are already pre-installed on the car. So you can adjust the height of the vehicle if you wish. It does have a slipper clutch back there, which is also adjustable. Motor is a 12.5 turn 3000 kV brushless motor, and I believe the ESC is a 45 amp. So you can run this on 2S or 3S if you wish, but I'm not quite sure, how it's going to handle it on 3S or for how long it's going to handle it on 3S. Hopefully it'll do okay. Steering servo, I think it says, okay, not that I think, I can read. It says digital servo TGY 4409MD. I don't think MD is a medical term in this case, so maybe it has metal gears. I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully it'll be quick enough, it'll be fast enough. There is some other writing on the front of it. Can I read it? That is the question. Can I read it? I can, but it doesn't tell me if it's, yeah, it just says Turnigy and it says the same model number, so it doesn't tell me what kind of weight it has. Another thing I just noticed as well, the plastic, the plastic film rather, is still on these panels, so you do want to peel this off before you attach your stickers. Otherwise, you could, your stickers could come off with the plastic film that's on there. So bear that in mind. Might want to peel some of this off. Okay, suspension. One of the things I can say about the suspension on this, feels a little bit bouncy. And I don't think it's because it's under dampened. I think the springs are just way too stiff. I mean, if I push down on this, they just feel really, really stiff springs. They could have used maybe slightly softer springs. I think it would have been a little bit better. But we'll see. I'll run it as it is. Perhaps it works brilliantly as it is and it's just a little bit deceiving. Perhaps it needs some thicker shock oil. Perhaps it needs softer springs. Until I run it, I'm not going to know exactly what needs to be done. But from what I can see, it feels a little bit bouncy. Tires feel very, very nice. I'm very impressed with the tires on this one. At least the rubber compound feels really good. Feels kind of sticky. I think they've done a really good job with the tires. Tread pattern, I'm not sure how this is going to hold up at the track that I run my RCs on. I like the fact that the tread kind of bleeds over to the sidewalls, so it's going to give you plenty of side bite as well. That is, of course, if they are grippy enough. But yeah, I mean, as far as the rubber compound goes, I'm pretty impressed. I'm happy. I just don't know if the tread is going to do its job, so hopefully it will. Does not have an adjustable servo saver, but it is spring loaded, and I suppose maybe you can put some extra washers in there to stiffen it up if you do want to do that. Aluminium upper deck, and I'll show you, speaking of the deck, I'll show you all the battery and everything. So to get access to this guy, this one, in some cars you flip the whole thing forward or you flip the whole thing back. This one is just this top section here, so there's a couple of body pins under here. You pull these out, so I'll get a bit closer there. So there's one under there and there's another one on this side. Now the one on this side is a little bit tricky to get to. I'll see if I can get it. You kind of got to fiddle around with it, find the right spot to grab it, and then hey presto, it's there. Okay, so once those pins are out, you can do that. And this guy just folds all the way to the back like so, giving you full access to the interior of the car, allowing you to change batteries, plug it in, switch it on, blah blah blah. Of course, if you want to do some maintenance and everything, you may need to remove the entire roll cage, which of course will require you to remove some screws from underneath. And as you can see, it does have an aluminium chassis. It does look to be about maybe 2.5 millimeters thick, so not super thick, which also means that it's not going to be super heavy. And for a 10 scale like this, being based on a short course truck size, it should be fine. But it's got some molds, got some bends to it, so it should hopefully maintain its stiffness, which is something that we all want in a chassis of a car. The spur gear is plastic. The pinion seems to be one of those brass pinions, so it's like it does look to be a decent size. Hopefully this guy will have some speed. We'll see how we go when I plug some batteries into it, and of course I will need to change these connectors because I don't use these 4mm bullets. I use recently I've been changing a lot of my connectors out from these, and I'm either using XT90, XT150s, or I'll, in my planes, a lot of my planes I actually use XT60s. So those are the connectors that I've been sort of using. I'm kind of phasing out all my Deans, and I may do a video later on showing you exactly why I'm doing that. So that is the Desert Fox. Now, a couple other things. As you can see, the shocks here, they do have these kind of like aluminium sleeves on top, aluminium cap on the bottom, and an aluminium threaded collar there. Plastic bodies, but as I said, they are threaded. You have adjustable camber front and rear, adjustable toe up the front. CVDs are in the front, standard dog bones in the rear. Beefy A-arms as well. These A-arms actually look to be quite nice. They look to be a lot thicker than those found on, say, the Vandal XL, which, by the way, speaking of the Vandal XL, I think some of these parts are interchangeable with that particular car. Parts such as your front bumper, perhaps the diff casings, and even the shock towers, and I think even the shocks, although these may be a little bit longer. I'm looking at the Vandal because it's down there. These shocks may be a little bit longer, but I don't know. I haven't measured them, so but definitely the shock towers look to be identical. So perhaps that's like the only thing. And the diffs themselves, I think, are the same. Going by the exploded pictures that I've seen, they look to be the same diffs. I don't know if the metal in them is any different, but I think they're the same diffs. So that is the Desert Fox pretty much in a nutshell. Couple of concerns. First of all, I'm going to show you this one very quickly. The upper section here, if you push down hard enough, this pops out, and you can see how it's popped out here. Now, originally I kind of thought maybe this is designed to be this way, in case you land on your roof or whatever, rather than putting all this pressure on the cage kind of gives way, and you can pop it back in. It's not broken. If I can actually pop it back in, there we go. And it's straight again, and it's good as new. But it is a little bit worrying how they've kind of done this, because the way that these two halves, because like there's a joint here, and the way that these two halves are kind of just linked together, the Lexan is actually screwed on to this back section. So you can see these little triangular pieces here, that's where the Lexan is screwed onto, and then it has like just a joint here, and if you push down hard enough, you can see how it's kinked in, right? I mean, I'm not punching this with massive force, but it does just pop back up. So that's concern number one. Concern number two, this is using the same electrics as found on the Vandal XL, and when I ran the Vandal XL, I found that it has a little bit too much cogging. From a dead stop, as you try to go forward, there's a little bit of that hesitation on the motor and everything, and I'm not sure if this is going to have the same problem. I'm hoping it doesn't, but that's just one thing to keep in mind. So we'll see until I plug it in and give it a run. I don't know how it's going to behave. I like to look at this. I like the fact that it has all of these adjustments. It's got droop screws already on there. The shocks do have some aluminium components, which will make them a little bit durable. The CVDs look to be thick enough, at least for a 10th scale. And the fact that it has CVDs on the front is a great thing. The steering servo looks okay. The battery is a standard kind of battery tray. And it just has some nice Velcro straps on there, so it's not an adjustable battery tray, but you should be able to run any sort of standard 2S or 3S pack, as long as it's the same size as a 2S. It can be a little bit taller though, because obviously you have the Velcro there, so you have plenty of adjustability in height. Receiver box is sealed as well, so I do believe that this is all waterproof, so you can splash through the odd puddle here and there, perhaps even use it in snow. But I don't like to get my cars wet. That's just me. So waterproofing and all that is kind of a byproduct of just having a good RC, I guess, for me. Ball bearings all the way around. Of course, it does use hex hardware all the way around as well. I know some people prefer the hex, some people prefer Phillips heads. This one uses a hex all the way through. There's four. I've just noticed 4 Phillips screws holding the ESC fan in place. I think they're the only 4 on the car that are like that. And yeah, aluminium drive shaft going all the way through, which looks to be pretty nice as well. Does not have sway bars pre-installed, but it does have the ability for you to install sway bars should they be available. There are a couple of spaces on the A-arms, and of course there are some grooves kind of on the diff casings here for the sway bars to kind of lock into place. So that's something that, perhaps an upgrade that you can do later on if they are available to use. And that's I think I've covered pretty much everything on this guy. Standard C-hub and steering knuckle on the front, C-hubs on the rear. Does not have any adjustable points for your shocks on the rear shock tower, but there is an extra adjustment point on the A-arms for your shocks, so you can move them in. You can't move them out, but you can move your shocks in. On the front, you can move the shocks out one little bit on the A-arms. On the shock tower, you only have the ability to move them up, or move them out rather, by one hole on the shock tower. That's the adjustments that you have there for your shocks. But you know, everything else looks to be pretty decent. Nice sturdy front bumper, nice sturdy rear bumper. The roll cage is nice and thick, although I'm just a little bit concerned about this section here kind of collapsing in. I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully it doesn't give me any dramas. Hopefully it holds up. Getting access to the inside of the car, very simple. 2 body pins, pop them out and the whole thing swings open. So they've designed this very well. Aluminium chassis, aluminium upper deck, so it gives it nice and sturdy. Beefier A-arms than that found on the Vandal XL, which is also a great thing. Tires actually feel the rubber compound feels pretty grippy, so I'm happy with that. Hopefully the tread pattern will actually give me some decent grip over at the BMX track. It does come with a genuine rear spare tire as well, so I'm abbreviating a lot of positives here for this car. There's just a couple of things that I'm a little bit concerned about. Hopefully they don't give me too much dramas, and overall the car will actually perform very, very well. So that is the Desert Fox from Hobbyking, ready to run, but of course you will need batteries for the remote in the car, and of course you do need a charger as well. You only get paperwork in the box. There are no spares or any tools or anything like that, so this is the type of car that you kind of need to be semi set up already in order to enjoy it for what it's worth. I think it's pretty well priced. I think there's a lot on offer here. It seems to be pretty well built. Just with the exception of the top of the roll cage there, but other than that, I can't wait to change out that connector, plug a battery in, take it out to the track and show you all how it runs. Now of course, if you want to stay up to date with everything that goes on here on the channel, please be sure to check out the video description. You can have a look at the Facebook page that I have there, and that'll keep you up to date with everything that goes on behind the scenes. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Again, you will be up to date with everything that goes on here on YouTube. I'll also have a link in the video description for the Desert Fox, so if you want to go check that out at the Hobbyking website, you can do that as well. But as always guys, thank you all very much for watching, and yeah, I guess I will speak to you next time.